worldview it embraced turned out to be a con, in so many ways. Falwell Jr.'s 2016 endorsement of Donald J. Trump helped deliver Trump the evangelical vote, securing him both the Republican nomination and the presidency, just as the senior Falwell's moral majority facilitated the election of Ronald Reagan in 1980. That endorsement was allegedly brokered by Trump's private fixer, Michael Cohen, calling in a favor, as he calls it in Disloyal, the book he wrote in prison, after he claimed to have made the details of my affair and the graphic photos that would have made denying it pointless quietly go away. So my simple youthful indiscretion, which has caused me embarrassment and regret, not to mention a very real fear for my own safety, may also have played a not insignificant role in making a person like Trump president. My choices ultimately pitched me into a rarefied world of political influence and financial brinksmanship. At one point, I was threatened by an armed individual and told, "Keep your mouth shut." Exactly the ultimatum I'm violating as I write this. Even that epithet, pool boy, became part of an orchestrated campaign to ridicule me and diminish my standing in the eyes of the media and their scandal-addled audience. I am shackled to the name and the sordid tale it conjures, an albatross around my neck. Forever. What follows is my story, at least as much of it as I can see from where I'm standing, and I'm grateful for the opportunity to share it. I hope by the end of it, you'll see me less as a pool boy and more as a flawed human who is trying to reclaim his identity and his dignity. Perhaps, too, this will serve as a cautionary tale for those of us who fall prey to the powerful and the influential. Either way, it is, above all, the truth. Chapter 2. Miami Blues. Miami is America's fabled magic city, where the normal high school preoccupations of sex, money, ambition, status, and assimilation are shared by the population at large, and perpetually at a high boil. Home of the newlywed and the nearly dead, they say, and I saw those sorts of extremes built into every aspect of the town. I am the proud son of immigrants, a Cuban father from a semi-prominent middle-class family who fled Havana in the Revolution in 1960, whose grandfather, my great-grandfather, was an engineer and later the Minister of Public Works under Carlos Prios Sacaras, before the military coup that brought Batista to power. He eventually amassed a fortune in Cuban real estate, all of which was seized by Castro. Like every expatriate he knew, he went to his grave believing he would one day return to Havana and reclaim his empire. Similarly, my mother emigrated from Mexico City, where her uncle, my godfather, owned a bakery and later his own multi-unit apartment building. In addition, my godmother's husband is an architect and developer of gated communities, and both my sister and I have been interested in real estate development from an early age. My parents met in Miami in 1980, shortly after my mother's arrival, where my father managed a chain of beeper stores, which were extremely popular, this being the era of Miami Vice. My sister was born in 1984, and I came along 7 years later. We were close, and remain so today. She currently works in the high-end residential real estate industry. By the time I reached high school, I had an affinity for economics and its real-world application, excelling in my high school accounting class. My parents both encouraged my interest in real estate, and when we would visit Mexico City, my godfather always went out of his way to walk me through the business. I was also a fan of Donald Trump, then considered a real estate maverick on the strength of the persona he put forth in The Art of the Deal. I believed the hype, was predictably conservative in my politics, being the son of a Cuban exile, and secretly imagined I might one day fulfill my own dream of becoming a real estate mogul. I grew up middle class in Westchester, a working-class Cuban neighborhood. The Cuban exile community is like any other tribe that has been forced out of its homeland. Its descendants are resilient members of a diaspora, always preoccupied with a place that no longer exists, save for the burnished tales handed down over time that evolve as they drift from their original source. Cubans represent over half the population of Miami, and as much as 80% of enclaves like Westchester and Hialeah. Conservative politicians can exploit this generational trauma to consolidate power and lock in a reliable voting bloc, so long as they celebrate personal liberty, limited government, and never bend the knee to Castro. This, in turn, stokes expatriate grievances and can inflate the expat community's sense of self-worth. Mix that with a genetic disposition toward prodigious energy and self-motivation, and